Hey guys, welcome back to Top 10 Gaming. I'm Ron McKenzie Lafergie. StarCraft Remastered is set to be released on August 14th, and I have my copy pre-ordered already. Considering there's a whole generation of StarCraft lovers that have never played the original, I thought I'd talk about some important things to know. Some things that are changing and some that will stay the same. So get ready for some nostalgia because it's time for the top 10 surprising facts about StarCraft Remastered. And I'll be saying Brood War a lot in this video, and for those of you who don't know, that was the expansion to the original StarCraft, and the version used competitively, so it's how most people refer to it. Just so there's no confusion, Brood War means the original. Let's go! Number 10. Brood War has been alive all these years. While most people switched to StarCraft 2 when it came out, and most of those people have since switched to MOBAs, there is still a decent community on the original StarCraft. There even remains a somewhat healthy pro scene, with many pros switching back to Brood War after trying their hand at StarCraft 2. Now, most of the people still playing Brood War are people who have been playing for almost 20 years, so when I went back to try it again a while back, it did not go well. Hopefully with the release of Remastered, there will be some noobs I can crush, because right now I couldn't even win a game of Big Game Hunter. Number 9. Remastered will support up to 4K resolution. With more and more modern games supporting 4K resolution, Blizzard felt that their remastered version of the classic game should live up to the same standard, which is pretty exciting. It's also been announced that it will support up to 16:9 aspect ratio, which is really great given the makeup of most modern monitors. This has caused some problems with the mini-maps, but it should be fixed by release. And don't worry, much to the relief of players everywhere, it was announced that the game would still be 2D, allowing players to feel much the same experience as they did back in the day. Number 8. It looks friggin' phenomenal. This is probably a bit less surprising to those of you who've been keeping on top of StarCraft news, but it really does look great. Now, I was worried that when they remastered the game they'd change everything way too much, but in my opinion they managed to give the game the same feel, just with a cleaner look. The units are sleeker, especially certain mechs like the Goliaths, and the buildings and UI look really nice as well. If you never played the original, you might think it looks maybe lame, and some fans of the original think so too, but many others, myself included, think it's just dandy. Number 7. You can switch between high and low resolution. Some people who played Brood War back in the day aren't too thrilled about the increased resolution and graphics. It just isn't the Brood War they know and love. But good news for them, it's been announced that you'll be able to swap between the high and low resolution modes easily, allowing you to play and watch replays with a variety of graphics settings. Personally, I'll be sticking with the remastered graphics, but it's nice that we'll be given the choice. Number 6. It'll have revised sounds and audio with 13 supported languages. While the original StarCraft was released in English, StarCraft Remastered will include 13 supported languages, complete with voice acting to match. This is pretty huge. It makes it easier and frankly more interesting for non-English speakers trying to enjoy the game. Will it affect me? Not really, other than the odd time I feel like learning how to say, "You want a piece of me, boy?" in French. Doesn't really have the same ring to it. But it's a pretty nifty feature. Number 5. If you're used to StarCraft 2, hotkeys are gonna suck. In StarCraft 2, the hotkeys are wonderfully selected so that you can hit them with your left hand. It's great. But in StarCraft 1 and Brood War, they didn't care about that stuff. You want to build a pro? Okay, better reach all the way over to P, because P is for pro. Yeah, it's kind of a nightmare, and it really makes you appreciate the hotkeys in StarCraft 2. Number 4. It will run on the same engine. One big question that many fans had when Remastered was first announced is whether it would run on the same engine as the original. Turns out it will be, to the delight and horror of various fans. Those who enjoyed the clunky mechanics and ridiculous Dragoon pathing are celebrating, but personally I wouldn't have minded a wee tune-up. But hey, I'm not the boss and I'm sure I'll still enjoy it. And this brings me to my next point. Number 3. It will have the same limits to unit selection as the original. Here's a pretty significant point that those not familiar with the original StarCraft may not be familiar with. In StarCraft 2 you can select an unlimited number of units, allowing you to send massive armies to your opponent with the click of a button. And if you're Terran, you can send a bunch of Marines and auto-win. Just kidding. Kind of. In Brood War, however, there was a max of only 12. That's right, you could only control 12 at a time. 12 Zerglings, 12 Dragoons, 12 Guardians, just 12. This will take a fair bit of getting used to, so if you're hoping to hit the ladders when Remastered comes out, you might want to brush up on your micro and control groups. Number 2. It contains many of the same bugs as before. There are a number of bugs that existed in Brood War, which isn't surprising considering it came out in 1998. But rather than being fixed and patched out, these bugs actually became part of the game. Whether you were throwing off the pathing of Scourges with a stutter step or stacking up your Mutalisks, there were a pretty decent number of exploits you could use to beat your opponent. Since this game will just be a remaster and not an actual re-release, Blizzard won't be fixing these bugs, which is definitely good news for the Brood War veterans looking forward to crushing the newbies. Number 1. Online matchmaking. While there are a lot of features that will be kept the same, there are certain changes to the game happening in the Remastered edition. One particularly happy change is that there will be an online matchmaking system similar to that of StarCraft 2. One thing that Brood War was lacking was an automated matchmaking system, instead of having players join games themselves. This is one of the best changes coming from Remastered, and it'll really make it easier to hop into the game. That's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, please smack that thumbs up button and subscribe to Top 10 Gaming for more videos. You looking forward to StarCraft Remastered? I am. Let me know what you think in the comments section down below. Until next time, I'm Ron McKenzie LaFurgey with Top 10 Gaming. Later, gamers.